By request, not my request, but they asked me to tell a few stories, road stories and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep it simple. A couple of salient points. This is a steel guitar. You can call it a Hawaiian steel guitar. You can call it a pedal steel guitar. It's a steel guitar. It's a steel guitar because of this thing, the steel. It's played with a steel instead of fingers on the other hand. The way it comes down, it started out in Hawaii. It started out by certain crewmen of certain Portuguese world travelers, you know, big boats and stuff, and Spaniards. They all had guitars, right? It was a big deal to play guitars. But when they had to leave on the tide, it means, you know, get on the fucking boat, or you're not going home. You know, it's it could be true, it couldn't be, but whatever. It sounds like it. So they left these possessions behind, these guitars, and the Hawaiians picked them up, and they'd seen them play it, and they'd used them themselves and had fun with it. So now they had these possessions of these guitars, these 6-string guitars. But because of the humidity in Hawaii, the necks went like this from time to time. Okay? So they're kind of unplayable the usual way with fingers. You can't get them down when you can press them like a half an inch. That's bullshit, you know. So they had to figure another way to play it. And they worked out somehow they got a bone or a shell, and they started a smooth side, and they started running up the strings like this, you know, so. So that's how that works. Now, because of adding all these pedals, these changes, and all this stuff, this crazy stuff, it's all going down in the knee levers and the things. That makes it a pedal steel guitar. And the thing that this is not, it's not a slide guitar. Makes it, you know, I'm not trying to be facetious, not trying to be funny. It's not a slide guitar. A slide guitar is played by, you know, but it was originally called a bottleneck because they used Coke bottles off the top, you know, and you use those to run them up. But just another way to play, right? But the Hawaiians were off and running. Now, there's a whole interest coming into Hawaii from the United States. United States Merchant Marines, United States Navy came in to protect the islands, and they started to see these Hawaiian players who were now really good. You know, in 150 years, they got really good. And now these sailors, these U.S. sailors, had started picking up. You know, took a few lessons and stuff, and they brought it back to the main deal on the West Coast, which is San Pedro, right? San Pedro, California, Long Beach, all that stuff. Now, when it came, that became a Hawaiian guitar, right? Now, they brought them back. Now, the end of the war, the end of World War II, and there's a lot of these mechanics that worked out of there, the shipyards and stuff and things, really handy guys. And they came in to fill the hole of building these kind of guitars with these changers on them, right? These pedals, which just like really, really changed lives. You know, can you imagine a trucker driving down, you know, I-95 or whatever, you know, and he's driving down, and he hears on his radio, he hears Webb Pierce doing, "Slowly I'm falling, boom, boom, boom." And here you hear this bow down, doom, which sounds like this. Good. For the first time. Never heard that stuff before. And here these truckers are going, what? You know. So they had to have them. Now all these technicians, these mechanics, got a lot of work making these steel guitars. Okay, now it comes to how I got this job. Okay, that comes down because Garcia got into what I do. And he loved that stuff. He loved that West Coast playing, like Ralph Moody, me, a lot of other guys that in that country rock kind of so-called music. And he had to have one. And he got one out of a music store in St. Louis. Got a few lessons. He got it tuned up. And now he was on the road. And Jerry never screwed around with this. He went right to the shortcut, right? Now he's playing. And I got to tell you, I heard him in 1969, maybe 68. First time he had, maybe it was 69, I'm not really sure. But he was horrible. He was untrained, unskilled, he was terrible. And that's the time when Ramrod was the head of the band. So they all go through their progressions and stuff. And I'm playing with Ian and Sylvia at that time, folk, a very famous folk bunch. And Garcia had taken on too much. Very customary for that's his way of doing it. And one of the great confrontations by the Grateful Dead against Garcia, there was a few of them, if you read the notes. And they said, Jerry, we love what you do, and you play all these other things, and you're with these other musicians and bands and stuff. He says, but we need them right now. We need you badly right now. We're suffering. We owe 2 albums. We're going to default on 2 albums to Warner Brothers. The last thing, you have this as a career, the last thing you want to do, you want to default. No, you never want to do that. So, Phil, namely Phil, is pushing him to you drop this band, this New Riders thing that you started, And Jerry had to admit it. He said, yeah, the guys are getting better, which is Torbert and Torbert, Nelson, and Spencer and Marmaduke. Those guys were getting better at their music, and Garcia wasn't getting any better. He was just now make sure you understand that he was never going to leave that steel guitar, that pedal steel. He was going to use it on subsequent albums, but right now he had to stop working that band. He had to stop playing steel, and he had to concentrate on his guitar and his music with Hunter. So they were just embarking this tour, all of us, and who was on Festival Express. Garcia heard me play with the first night with Ian and Sylvia, and he said, that's the guy. That's the ringer. That's the guy we need. Yeah, Jerry, absolutely, Jerry. I wouldn't be sitting here if it was for Jerry Garcia. And he confronted me in the club car, after the gig, and said, we really need you to take this band, this New Riders band. I don't know who he was talking about. And I went, what? I mean, you're offering me a job? I got a job, And besides, and I said, look at you guys. Why would I want to join you guys? Look at Phil with a fucking Muscovite hat and a Bolshevik hat and and Ron. Well, that didn't come until later, but Ron looked like a Hell's Angel. He didn't look like he was a legitimate musician. Of course he was. And look at Garcia. Ain't that scary? This is 1970. And I said, come on, guys, And Jerry says, no, man, you really got to take this job. I urge you to take this gig. Quit this band that you're in and take... What, and I was a certain kind of hippie. I was very trim and very neat and shit, more of a cowboy than, yeah. And I said, geez, man, I need the time to think about it. He says, okay. we got some stuff to do. You guys finish your jobs and we'll meet up. Okay. So in that time, Garcia got to produce Working Man's Dead, then American Beauty. They finished them off. They got them all in time. So for Warner's, Joe Smith was happy. Everybody happy. Everybody gets bonuses. Let's go. You know. Now I get the call. Come on back to California. You got to leave this Ian and Sylvia. As much as Jerry loved Ian and Sylvia and respected them highly, he said, "No, we need you." Oh boy, you know. So I came out because you can't say no to Jerry Garcia. Simple as that, you know. He makes it sound so right, and I inherited this job. And he told me, he said, you know, I said, "What do you want me to play?" Like the stuff that you played. He went, "Oh no, not like me. No, you're the guy. You're the ringer." He said, "Don't play anything like me, God, you know." So we were off and going, you know, 1971, and it's just been a trip that I've hung on to and loved all these years. So what is that? 43 years, 44 years, you know.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a wonderful trip, you know. New Rider's always been great. Now Panama, Peter comes in, Rowan comes in. Holy shit, you know. I got this song for you guys who just love. It's a dope song, right? Drug songs, yeah. That's what we do. So anyway, that's what this is about. That's what I'm about, and do you think that I ever forget Jerry for 1 minute while I'm doing all this stuff for all these 44 years? Never. He was the best. So there it is. Let's hear some music, man. I'm tired of myself.